Assalamualaikum everyone. This is a special Qyssa show. We have with us today Raza Jafri, who is exceptional. And he calls himself a world traveler, but he is a global entrepreneur and he's a philanthropist as well.
So what's Raza doing in Bahrain? He actually was one of the speakers at TEDxDilmun, which happened very recently, and he was amazing. He blew us away.
And we were exceptionally happy to know that he's a Pakistani.
Yes.
So welcome, Raza.
Thank you for having me.
So how did TEDxDilmun happen for you, and what was the experience like?
TEDx itself, the institution, is really, really exceptional. It's powerful. And whether you're in leadership or someone even learning the ropes about corporations, how to rise through your career, sometimes you need a pep talk. And TEDx for me over the past few years was somewhere where I used to look for guidance, for information, especially in the dark times. Every entrepreneur goes through a lot of dark times. And it was on my bucket list, kind of like the mental bucket list. After I finished my executive MBA, I was like, okay, like, aur kya karna hai, because career is one thing, companies, business, technology is one thing, but sharing your story, learning from others, what's the stuff that happens behind the scenes sometimes doesn't get talked about. And that's what you need to remind yourself to recalibrate yourself towards your mission, which is trying to help people, and also share with others, because you don't know who might get that little seed of hope and guidance from you. So it's important.
I think that's what we got from you, and
Absolutely.
of course, again, to say that we're very proud that you were at the same stage where Sheikh Nasser was.
Yeah.
So we were exceptionally proud.
So you talked about your story and how it started from your father and grandfather. So take us through that journey.
I'm a firm believer that if we forget our past, then we won't understand where we have to go for our future. For me, looking back at where we come from beyond my childhood is important, because it'll help sow the seeds of where we have to go, because I wasn't born in Pakistan. Being born in Canada, especially in a time where it was very rare to see Pakistanis in Montreal, where I was born. My mom used to tell me that if they see even one Desi, they would want to hug them. Hamara bhai aa gaya ya behan aa gayi. And then for my father, even that moment was a moment of celebration, because he came from very difficult childhood, and our whole life, he never made us feel like it was difficult. But when I started entering adulthood and going through my own struggles, transferring from academia to the work world, the real life, that's when daddy's tidbits, stories started to make more sense. He brought it up when I really needed it, when I was living on my own. I moved to Toronto. Some of these stories had a profound impact, and they came at the time I needed them. My father was born 6 months before partition near Agra. When he was 6 months old, out of the blue, in one night, they were asked to leave. Wrap everything up, leave your homes, your belongings, and go to this new place that they had never been. So overnight, they crossed into the border of this new nation that was born, Pakistan. I think they were first in Manora area, the island area, and then they were allocated where to move as new Mahajirs come into Pakistan. And from the stories that I've known from my parents and the Khandan, is that everyone was sent to different parts: Fedobieria, Lalukid, Liakatabad, Malir, all these areas. And so these names didn't have a picture in my mind until we started traveling to Pakistan more often. In Pakistan, they had to start from scratch. His grandfather was the deputy collector of that area, Paharsil or Agra. They were doing good in India. In Pakistan, literally ground zero. And
So many others.
You were starting over.
Bilkul, just like when they came to Canada and America. So in a weird way, it was like a preparation for what's going to come in his future, starting from scratch. So when they came, 6 kids, new in Pakistan, in Ghurbat, deep, and his father was a postman then in Pakistan. And I shared this story at TEDx, and essentially at Qaid-e-Azam's Mazar, there was a world fair. Karachi and Pakistan itself was coming out to be a very great place, a lot of innovation, scientists, educated people. And companies and businesses wanted to explore that region. So there was a world fair happening in Karachi and there was a buzz in the city. At Quaid-e-Azam's Mazar, there was a car sitting on a podium high above covered in stickers from all over the world. And first, dad's a beautiful car. And then he's like, "Ye kya laga bhai?" And he asked his dad, he's like, "What does these stickers mean?" And his father, my dada, he's like, "It means that this car has traveled to all these countries, all these places." So for my father, he's like, there's a big world out there beyond what we've seen here in Pakistan. But wait, the car doesn't have emotions, the car doesn't have feelings, and it's seen the world. Wait, why do people struggle to see even the next village? That seed of curiosity was probably one of the most momentous points of his childhood, because then he asked his father, he's like, "How come we don't get to see the world?" And then his father said, "You could. I couldn't give it to you, that opportunity, but you can give it to yourself and your nasal in the future if you choose a path that gives you wings."
That's amazing. That's
Really
amazing.
goosebumps.
Like he didn't say, "Oh nahi, hum nahi dekh sakte." Kuch log nahi dekh
हाँ,
sakte. He actually said there's a possibility agar aap chaho.
Because I think what he wanted to feed his children with was the hope. Just like a new nation is being born, there's new hope being born. Just like anything new, when you move to a new country, मुश्किल होती है शुरू
Of
में,
course.
लेकिन उस मुश्किल में भी आपको उम्मीद होती है कि one day things will be better.
And even for any life lesson, I think,
Yeah.
even if it's not a new country, it's a new thing that you start or some new relationship. There's hope everywhere. And that's so important to revisit.
That hope is your fuel.
Yeah.
So for him, then he literally studied Kabhi Kabhi under the train station because वहाँ light ज़्यादा better थी. And he then joined the Air Force, then PIA, aeronautical engineer. Then he decided to leave. A lot of his friends, they were like, "Yahi rehna hai Pakistan mein." And he's like, "No, this is just the beginning." And then he came to America, then made his way to Canada. And
So he was in VIA. That means he traveled the world.
so when he was in PIA, he got to travel to like Bangladesh because it was East
Yeah.
Pakistan. And he told me cinema dekhne ke liye to watch Bollywood movies. They used to go to Afghanistan.
Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
He went all through Pakistan.
So then, of course, that hope and that seed was bred
Yeah.
in you.
Yeah.
And then you also talked about your mother. So where the philanthropy angle came from, right?
Yeah, definitely. Mom's influence is very emotional because when she came to Canada, winter, back then winters were harsher and worse. Language, forget English. They spoke French mostly. She took French courses. She took the bus because the government would pay you for taking French courses. And she was pregnant and she would do it. She helped her siblings come to Canada, open doors and change the destiny and the future for so many families. But it came with a lot of sacrifice and struggle. We grew up on a single income. It's hard now in Canada to come to Canada and have single income. But my dad somehow made it work because my mom balanced things. She never made us feel like there's a scarcity of anything. She always went above and beyond. And I think the way that she tapped into our mindset, don't take anything you're getting here for granted. The way she did that she's like, Hamesha yaad rakhna ke whatever you have is a gift from God. It's a gift from Allah. And do shukr. Har cheez ka shukr. Right now, I get in trouble from my mom. Kuch bhi bolo, "Oh, Ammi, like it's a beautiful day. Mashallah bolo. Oh, Ammi, zain kitna pyara lag raha hai. Mashallah bolo." I get in trouble. But she just instilled it in our head that it's not you, buddy.
Yeah.
It's not. Don't ever forget that there's a creator, there's a system, and there's a plan. And if you go against that system and that plan, you're not doing anyone justice. And the way you give back, the way you do shukr is not just with your words, it's through your actions. And that's where philanthropy was embedded. And in 2010, there's a charity called Help Orphans Promote Education Pakistan mein bahut bada flood aaya tha. And I was like, oh my God, I felt like something inside, it was a fire. I'm like, I need to help. I'm not born there, but I lived there 2 years, 92 to 94. Interesting time. But I was like, I need to help that country. I need to help that country. And in the masjid, someone introduced me to a director of this charity, and they had just registered in Canada. And I had a lot of contacts from university. Through the Iraqi community and other Arabs, friends of mine, we were able to rent out the community center for free to the charity. The CTV News, CBC News, which are news agencies in Canada, they came. I think I was 23. 5 orphans were sponsored that night, and a lot of money was sent to Pakistan, and the Arabic community helped, and it was amazing. Today, that charity, I'm just a volunteer, they sponsored, I think, over 6,000 children. Last year, I was the MC, and the year before of their annual gala. And in one night, I think last year we raised 600,000-700,000 something in Toronto.
Going back now to your startup career, and so you're a tech entrepreneur, obviously. And tell us, what did you study and why entrepreneurship? Why not a regular 9 to 5?
Some may tell you that people who are entrepreneurs feel that they're not employable. That's why they become entrepreneurs.
That's very true.
Yeah.
That's very true. I think we're all in this.
Yeah.
So it's entrepreneurship kind of happened for you by accident almost, because you weren't getting employed?
No, not necessarily, because see, when I was 5 years old, I was like, I was really curious about how to create exponential value. It started off with relationship, like with my parents. My dad was sometimes working 16-hour shifts. So exponential value meant I'm going to sleep in their bed. Forget my other siblings. I'm going to sleep in my parents' bed because I get more time with my dad. And so about when he's leaving, I would keep my foot on him. So I know he's leaving. Then he'd have to give me 25 cents as ijazat to go to work. So at a young age, I was like, oh, reward. So when I was 5 years old, I remember my tooth came out and I put it under the pillow. And my mom, bichari, she has 4 kids. So she forgot to take the tooth out and she left the tooth and the money. And I'm like, I have inventory. I took the tooth to school and I said, you could take this home for $1, put it under your pillow. The tooth fairy's going to think it's yours and you'll make money. And the teacher shut it down. Did a long story.
But then mindset.
Did you make any money out of that too?
$1 but coffee candies khati hu.
And that's the mindset,
Yeah.
actually, where it starts from.
That's it. And so that passion, why am I going to work for someone when I have the ability to just
Create
push
your
to
own.
create my own?
Yeah.
So then as I grew up, then I realized in communities, in sports, it's the business people that are able to carry things to another level.
Yeah.
So, and I had a yaqeen that, hey, my purpose is not just to bring food to the table to my family. Inshallah, I'll be able to do that when I grow up. But I want to do more. I don't want to see other people struggle. I want to see people do good because my parents came to this country for a reason. Why am I going to stick to status quo and not give back to them? Like, the best way to give back to their mehnat and their sacrifices is to be successful.
And also to continue their legacy, which is giving back, which I see. Yes.
Yes. Like, what's the purpose? Entrepreneurship is just a key to give back.
Yeah.
That's it. And if you look at it like that, like in karate, when they teach you to punch, they tell you picture beyond the wall. Entrepreneurship with social good mindset is exactly that. So when people say no, when a deal falls through, you have to push through because every punch is a deposit into your resilience account. If it doesn't break you, it makes you stronger. And Pakistanis really understand this because in our country, in Pakistan, we deal with weather issues now more than other countries. We deal with crime. We deal with all kinds of things.
Despite all that, it's one of the highest in giving charity.
I think that should be on a t-shirt.
Yeah, every no or every punch is a deposit into your resilience account. It just makes you stronger.
Your company, your organization, I think when you mentioned on TED Talk was that it also started and stemmed from a grief and a loss.
Growing up in Montreal, the small community that we had, the few Pakistani Indo families that we were close to, we were very tight-knit. So every Ramzan, Iftar, we knew kiske ghar pe shuru hoegi, Eid kiske ghar pe hoegi. We already knew. So there was a friend I grew up with. I just remember him always just smiling. And certain people in your life, they come and they leave you with the most profound feeling in the world. It's not what they say, it's how they made you feel. And he was like that. After I got married and moved to Toronto, and I finally got a job in my field, I was designing buildings. I read the news the day after my birthday in 2013 that he was walking to work and a construction accident happened. He was an innocent bystander. a 2-ton steel plate fell from a construction site. He was the breadwinner. He was a good person. He had plans. He had dreams, but he never made it home. And it triggered something inside me because I'm like, look, I studied urban planning. I had my undergrad already. I need to go and do my master's. I need to make urban planning proactive rather than reactive, make our cities safer by being able to predict danger, accidents, floods, all of that.
Like
But-
Minority Report.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of. You're right. I'm going to go watch it again because of you. So these are the things they come in your life, and either they come and they pass by and you don't do anything about it, or you take action. And like Sheikh Nasser said yesterday here in Bahrain, you don't have to show people the whole iceberg. The majority of the iceberg is underwater. It's submerged. What you're building, your plans, your ideas, you may not even know them. But the tip of the iceberg is the most important because that's where you begin.
And that is your intent also.
Yeah.
Even this company, we build, like, we have digital twins, we take urban planning into the metaverse, we have projects all over the world. It's fun, but it opens bigger doors because it all connects back to your purpose, which is you want to help. So then the United Nations reached out on part of the UN Cityverse framework, where they're using the thought process, the ideologies of what we've built in our company to help build the framework for all cities around the world to be able to have citizen life-enhancing digital transformation. So that's why I was in Valencia 2 weeks ago, because we were inaugurating Cityverse project.
So tell us in a nutshell what MetaWorld does. Like, explain it to a 5-year-old.
Yeah, MetaWorldX builds digital models of the real world. So any building, any city, or even countries, you model it in the metaverse, and then you bring the data in. So in this room, for example, there's IoT devices, Internet of Things. These IoT devices are air quality, how many occupants are in the room, what the lighting is, and you can optimize all of this with AI. But if you bring it into a digital twin, into a visual representation, then you can really, really see what's happening in this building and 100 other buildings. For sustainability, our technology is
And just to understand, and let's say, does your model have that option of saving somebody from something that's going to fall from above?
Yeah, so if we go back to
Yeah.
the trigger for wanting to build something that can prevent accidents rather than reactive, it's getting to that now. So we do have a really interesting project in Philippines where typhoons are a big problem right now.
Yeah.
So the cell phone towers, they get damaged, and then people lose communication. Losing communication is also very dangerous because if there's authorities need to contact you to rescue you, etc. The other thing is they can't always send their staff to an area because it may be blocked or it's dangerous. It's an island that's cut off. So in our technology, they can see all of their cell phone towers, and they can test the generators as the typhoon path changes in the digital twin. They can visualize it, and they can test it through the visualization system. And so it's not just hypervisualization. Hypervisualization without data is just a rendering.
Yeah.
But when you add into the gaming element, when you add the real data, and then you activate it with artificial intelligence, you get information, feedback, and recommendations that can help you prevent a danger like a flood, evacuation.
So they can actually take action and maybe evacuating an area, or maybe protecting something, building something around it.
Exactly.
And that would be so helpful for Pakistan.
Yeah.
Every time I hear about what's happening in Pakistan, the floods and stuff, I wish I could have me or someone I can love and trust who's there 24 hours, lives there, and really drives this. Because when I started building this company, we launched at the World Smart City Congress in Barcelona, Spain. I was on stage, and the host did a countdown to launch MetaWorldX. We had Microsoft on the stage with me. We had Dassault Systems. We had other professors, academia, etc. It was exciting. My last business didn't lead to this. My childhood led to this. I wanted to build a company, whatever it is, even if it's a food bank, just help people. But because I love games, video games, because I love traveling, because I love architecture, I feel like it was just, bringing it all together. The purpose was that how are we going to now take this and help? But if mayors, if cities, if decision makers, if ministries don't understand the value of it,
Yeah.
Raza, don't give up. One day they will.
Yeah.
inshallah.
Just don't stop. And alhamdulillah, like we're seeing it now, the world's waking up and there's a demand, growing demand, not just for airports, for hospitals, for cities, anywhere where there's building infrastructure and people,
Yeah.
there's data. They need.
And do you feel like places in Bahrain, for example, they're much more open to it because the government makes faster decisions, adoption is easier than, how do you find that?
I 100% agree with that sentiment. And I'll tell you why. Being a Canadian, we have a very conservative mentality over there. And it's helped us a lot mitigate a lot of 2008 and stuff. We survived through that, the mortgage crisis, etc. But it's not always a good thing for tech and startups because it's a very conservative mentality. So there's a lot of red tape, bureaucracy, fear of change, etc. So we had to prove a lot of our MVPs and stuff, our early projects in sandbox environments in the Middle East, because here there's direct leadership from the top. And if they say, we want to work with MetaWorldX, we want to work with Raza Jafri, it gets done faster. Whereas in Canada, there's like a lot of lines you have to cross. But alhamdulillah, we have smaller projects in North America. United States, there's a lot of opportunity, but there's a lot of uncertainty right now too. But Middle East is an explosive market. Bahrain, it's just even coming here right now to do my TED Talk. The conversations, the people, the sentiment is at a very high level.
It is.
It absolutely
They
is.
value entrepreneurs. They value change. And most of all, they value innovation.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to serve this region not to become an importer of technology, but one day to become a multiplier and an exporter.
Inshallah.
Seeing Fatima bint Jafar al-Saraifi, your minister of tourism yesterday, and her husband, like, they're so personable. When she spoke right before Dr. Reem, and Dr. Reem spoke right before me. I think she set the stage.
During her speech, there was a lot of what we see in ourselves. Not that we've done all of that, but the way that the intent has driven her. But obviously, she has that model of the government and the system. But that was very inspirational. Yes.
So inspirational. And meeting her husband, for me, completed my respect for her even more because, for me, everything that you're hearing from me today, it's my wife has a lot to do with it. And I saw that with him as well because he's very supportive. He was right there. I didn't know who he was. And I was like, can you take a picture for us? I said, yeah, no problem, this and that. And then बहुत मजा आया उससे बात करके because I come from an aviation background in our family. He works in aviation for Gulf Air, and my JFK to Bahrain flight was my first Gulf Air experience. I loved it. It was such a great airline, and I think that was my first glimpse of what to expect when I land in the kingdom.
Yeah.
Is it your first time in the Middle East or just in the kingdom?
So I'm in the Middle East a lot.
Okay.
Like Saudi Arabia, I think 7 times in the last couple of years. Dubai, Dubai's like, and we have projects in Oman now, alhamdulillah, and stuff. So Egypt, all these countries I go to a lot. Bahrain was always like, I'm very curious because the few interactions I've had, starting back in university in my undergrad at Concordia in Montreal, was the first time I met Bahrainis. And they were so chill. They were
Out of Pakistan, once we come here and live
This
here,
becomes
this becomes home. To be honest, I would not be anywhere else than Bahrain.
I don't blame you, and I'm actually low-key very jealous. It's phenomenal.
It is.
The
Amazing people.
people.
Amazing people.
The closeness. Since we're on Bahrain and Bahraini hospitality, you have some very interesting gifts that you got in TEDxDilmun.
Yeah,
The hospitality.
the hospitality, like TEDx, just blew me away.
So you have a 2-month-old,
Oh
right?
I have
my
a
God,
two-month-old.
these are adorable.
This is for baby Zayn. So they were so excited for him because
They were supposed to.
Zara, Zaki, Zayn, Papa, their flights were booked.
Yeah.
We were all coming. But he had his 2-month shot,
Yeah.
I think 2 days before the flight. So we decided,
Yeah.
this is for him. Very thoughtful.
Yeah.
Okay, so coming back to MetaWorldX, I mean, it's amazing, but what do you see? What do you want to add in the future? Where do you see it going in the next 5 years or even 10 years?
Not just MetaWorldX, but a lot of countries are speaking about buying chips, about the AI revolution. It's true, it's happening, but there's a lot more that's coming in the pipeline with quantum. AI is having an impact on every single industry, from sales, marketing, business. Everything is being affected. So we're having not a change in the dynamics of how business works, but it's an evolution and a shift. So what's going to happen in the next 5 years is you're going to see a lot less of the AI noise and more practical applications of it. For example, what is going to be the results of these big data centers? Because they're not cheap, they're very expensive, they take a lot of electricity.
And water.
So how do we make them more sustainable? Here comes MetaWorldX, for example, because we build the digital twin of the data center and you can see the heating, the cooling, how to optimize the efficiency. So sustainability is going to become more and more important, not just because of climate change,
Yeah.
but because of the rising costs of living and the rising cost of utilities.
That's amazing because that is the biggest ethical challenge behind AI. Even as users, when we think about it, we're like, oh, do I really need to ask this question because it's going to consume energy?
But I think we're becoming indifferent to that. I was like that when it started, and I'm like, did you know that one line is 7 to 10 liters of water? And I'm like, now,
No, I'm very aware now. That's why I limit my usage of even ChatGPT. Because, you think about these things. It's just about, do I really need to use it right now? Can I use my brain a little bit?
Yeah.
Or, so I think it's just a question we ask ourselves.
and also, as you said, then diagnose the problem
Yeah.
and then derive solutions for using less energy or using less water. I think that is, again, your CSR.
Because look, at the end of the day, your value proposition shouldn't just be like, oh, we help you save money and we help you make money. No, you have to be conscious of people and planet because there's a purpose right there, right? So the UN SDG goals are just goals if people aren't actually achieving the goals, right?
Yeah.
So it's amazing. These conversations are happening right here in Bahrain. I'm being approached by heavyweight entrepreneurs, accelerators here in Bahrain, and they're telling me, and even academia, University of Bahrain representatives, professors were there, and they're like, come to our school and talk about your journey in MetaWorldX, because the next generation is not just hungry for titles, they're hungry for change.
Also to create.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, all these tools are now an opportunity to create amplification.
When was the last time you went to Pakistan?
The last time I went to Pakistan was 2003.
Oh,
And I lived there from 92 to 94. And it was the best time of our childhood because the whole Khandan, we had 6 houses all close to each other.
Wow.
And Thursday night, because the weekend was Friday, Saturday, volleyball, badminton, cricket,
That's
all the
amazing,
cousins, just so much fun.
and you still have family back home?
We have some family, yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of people passed away. My grandparents are buried there. So the first thing, inshallah, when I go to Pakistan, I want to visit my grandparents. We still have some family. One of my mamas is still there. But most people are in Canada, United States.
And when you come talk about food,
Yeah.
do you have the Khalis Pakistani desi food cooked in your house every day?
The minute I think of Pakistan, I think about 2 things. Nahari.
Oh, nihari.
And the tikka botiya. And
What's your favorite Pakistani?
Favorite
dish?
Pakistani.
favorite Pakistani dish, lamb biryani.
Your favorite video game?
My favorite video game, because I built a company based on it, is SimCity.
Yeah.
SimCity has a special place in my heart because as a kid, I remember the first day that my friend introduced me to SimCity, and you're building roads and the buildings, and then you're seeing how happy the citizens are, and you get to build it so you can mitigate floods and stuff. I swear I was so excited. The day that I heard about urban planning program that exists where you can do this in real life, I think that was one of the greatest moments for me because it gave me hope in academia.
So you studied urban planning because of SimCity.
I studied.
Oh, wow.
because-
That
and I did the MBA so I can build a business around it.
See, there's so many
Excellent.
positive aspects to video
Yeah,
games.
like somebody else was saying on the TED Talk yesterday, even that pouring of a tea
Yeah.
can give you inspiration. We close ourselves to it. There's so many stories around us or so many things that can shape our lives, but
Yeah.
we're so caught up with other things.
Yeah. You talked about attention, that sometimes you get distracted by chasing attention
Oh.
and then you forget your purpose.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
So what I said was, if you chase attention, you lose direction. But if you chase meaning, you never walk alone. Qyssa's been around 2 years. Congratulations
Thank
for your anniversary, Qyssa. Keep it up. But you're not alone. You have each other
To ground each
to
other.
ground each other. You know how powerful that is?
Yeah.
Allah was meant this to happen.
And you know what? But I think you need people with you who actually keep reflecting back on your intent and your goodness. Like I sometimes I suffer from imposter syndrome a lot,
Yes.
and she keeps telling me, you do this as well. You do this as well. I'm like, Saraswati, please. And then I keep telling her she's an amazing gamer. She's an amazing designer.
We have to remind each
And-
other of our great.
And you know what? You keep telling each other, no, you're good at it. And then that's where we want that intent to come in to help
Yeah.
other women understand their capabilities, connect with other women.
And understand the power of connection.
There's a
Understand the
power.
power of a good partnership.
वो वक्त खत्म हो गया है कि जब आप अकेले चलें, you do partnerships.
One of the things that leadership has taught me is it's not about being in the spotlight. It's about keeping your light steady when no one is watching. अगर इधर देखेंगे, so you lose direction. इधर देखेंगे, you lose direction. Pretend that this wall is our ana, and this wall is our lack of confidence. We have to drive in the middle, right? So when she says that to you, be proud, but be humble.
Yeah.
At the same time.
That's what
Yeah.
we do. Yeah.
And if Pakistanis
yeah.
and Indians and our continent understands that concept, then we'll break through the shackles, that ghulam feeling that we had, because we're not. We're thinkers, we're doers,
Yeah.
we're givers, we're nurturers. Look at our culture, look at our colors.
Yeah.
When I see my people coming back to why does Raza love Pakistan or India or our culture? Because it's one continent, subcontinent. It's one answer. It brings light. It brings light.
There's so much that we've not even explored
Yeah.
yet. So
We-
much about Pakistan.
Like, look at Sawat, look at Murray, look at Kashmir, look at Gilgit Baltistan, look at Skardu. Like, the country is one of the greatest assets we have. Be proud of what you're doing. Pakistani women are resilient. And when they hear each other's stories, they can go through anything, right? Because they've been through everything. I know that because I was raised by a Pakistani mom and have sisters. I think at the end of the day, the future of Qyssa, it's these conversations are going to be echoed for generations to come. And the key is to keep these conversations moving, because at the end of the day, challenges change over time. Parents have different problems. Like, aajkal ke bachche, there's different things you have to deal with, video games, this and that, right? Content and stuff. But if these conversations don't happen in a safe, comfortable environment with people that look like us, talk like us, then where are we going to get guidance from, or where are we going to get inspiration from? Like these two girls, for example, if they didn't come meet you yesterday and say salam, and you didn't exist, let's say, and Qyssa didn't exist, that time might have been spent watching different content. So think about every person that gets to take a nugget of knowledge from you can plant a seed, and we don't know what trees are going to come
That
up.
is amazing. That's an amazing perspective, right? Because social media is so powerful. There's like so many directions it could take, and so many lives we
Human
could impact
interaction.
without even knowing,
Yeah.
like without even knowing that we put something out there and it affected somebody.
Anything we do is only as powerful as the impact it creates.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Raza,
Thank
for your
you.
time today. And you were here for a very short time, but you accommodated us. So we're
Yes,
so grateful for
yes.
that.
We're very proud of you.
We're so proud
Yeah.
of what you're doing, what you've built, and
I think you are giving us direction.
so thank you everyone for watching another episode of Qyssa. As always, we thank you for your love and your support.
Thank you so much.